Hello everybody, this is Murmurs of the Soul. I hope this video finds you well, or at least happy in your life. I'm trying a little bit of soft speaking. I don't really think my voice is too great for soft speaking, but I'm going to try it anyway. And I'm going to read a little story called Tabitha by Anne Wilson to you today. It is a bit of a children's picture book, but I consider it a bit more mature. It mentions death a lot in it, but not in a terrible way, just like, path of life kind of way. And I just really enjoyed it when I was a kid, and I still do, more so now, because I can appreciate it more. But it's got really beautiful illustrations, and I really liked it, so I'll share a little bit of it with you. Chapter 1, In the Beginning. Old Pufftail was a street cat. He's very proud and very alone. Some cats lived with people in their houses, but people give them milk and food in little dishes. They light fires to keep the cats warm in the winter. In summer, they put out chairs in their gardens for the cats to sit on. The people call this owning cats. But old Pufftail accepted no two-footer as his owner. He wandered up and down the street getting food where he could find it. When he found the food in garbage pails, the people shouted, "Disgusting!" And when he found the food in people's houses, they called it stealing. Pufftail just called it finding food. Old Pufftail knew many beautiful female cats, and he was the father of many cats. But his favorite cat in all the world was a small gray tabby cat, ribbed with mackerel stripes all over her back and face, and with a chest as white and thick as snow. This beautiful cat was named Tammy. One terrible day, just after she had given birth to 4 of Pufftail's kittens, Tammy was run over by a car. Pufftail hated cars and called them engines of murder. Pufftail knew that life, if you are a cat, is a sad business. Even so, he had not prepared for the bad news which Rocket gave him a few days after Tammy's death. Rocket was a fat, insolent ginger tomcat who often had fights with Pufftail, but never came out with much dignity. Nevertheless, Rocket considered himself Pufftail's superior. Not only did he live in a comfortable house with a very kind owner, he also had a very happy arrangement with the people at number 13. Rocket called number 13 his club, and he often waddled off there for a second dinner if he felt inclined. Rocket's chief pleasure, however, was not eating, but gossip. He loved to pass on news, but it was always bad news, and usually turned out to be untrue. "Good morning, Pufftail," said Rocket, looking as if he had some very interesting news indeed. At first Pufftail did not see Rocket. He just heard his annoying voice somewhere overhead. Then, looking up, he saw the ginger tom in the branches of the apple tree in the garden of number 17. "So your brats have finally been disposed of," said Rocket, grinning. "Brats?" asked Pufftail with a show of indifference which he did not feel. "I did not know I had any brats." "The kittens at number 18, said Rocket, "drowned. Never trust a two-footer, that's what I say." "No," Pufftail corrected him, "that's what I say. You got it from me." "Common knowledge," grinned Rocket. "I'm just off to the club for a bite to eat. I wish you'd join me, but they like a cat to be clean at the club. You should look after yourself, old chap. You're starting to look underfed," and the Siamese opposite said she thought you looked scraggy. "I Breakfast did extremely well, said Pufftail, trying to keep his temper. My bet is they've already drowned those little kittens, poor brats, said Rocket. Pufftail could not endure no more. He snarled, he hissed, and then he threw himself at Rocket. But Rocket was very quick on his toes. Before Pufftail could grab him, he had jumped over a wall and was disappearing to the safety of number 13, saying, "You're a bit edgy today. Hungry, I expect." Later that day, Pufftail discovered that none of the kind but foolish people who lived in the street had drowned his kittens. 3 of his kittens remained at number 18, where they were born, and the 4th had gone next door to number 16. The 2-footers at number 16 had not drowned his 4th kitten. Pufftail heard them cooing and drooling over her, as people do when they are cat lovers. The 4th kitten looked very much like her mother, Tammy. She had the same gray macro stripes all over her back and tail, the same thick white chest. The people in the house called her Tabitha. Old Pufftail watched through the window. Day by day and week by week he kept an eye on the little kitten as she grew bigger and stronger. Pufftail was still very angry that Rocket had alarmed him so much with the story of someone drowning his kittens. One day, when the people at number 16 were outdoors playing with Tabitha, and Pufftail was on a window ledge outside looking in at them, he heard someone say, "There's old Pufftail looking through the window." "Do you think he knows that Tabitha is his kitten?" asked a girl. "Of course," said another 2-footer, but another said, "I shouldn't think he cares. There he goes, waving his thick tail. He never stays in the same place for long." "Where's he going?" asked the girl. "Oh," said the older voice, "he's going hunting by the look of him." This was nearly true. Pufftail was going to sit by the back door of the club until Rocket staggered out full of his second dinner. And that was chapter 1. I'll continue this story if people want to listen to it. Just tell me how I did. I know I messed up on a few words, but see, the story did mention a few things about death, but I find it a really interesting story, and it really is a very sweet story. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll continue this story in later chapters if you want. Have a good day.